I'm going to tell you exactly why Grayscale withdrew the application for spot ETF for Cardano, Hedera, and Polkadot, while they kept the application for all these cryptocurrencies, including Near, Zcash, Tau, and BNB. Now, of course, people are being very bearish about Cardano, about Polkadot, about Hedera, because Grayscale removed the application for their spot ETF. But the real reason, in my opinion, is not because these cryptocurrencies don't have institutional demand, not because Grayscale thinks that their product for these cryptocurrencies is not going to perform well. I think the reason is completely different here. And of course, Grayscale has not disclosed anything, so it will be speculation. I'm connecting dots, and I do believe that I have a very strong reason, because there is a very bold and clear similarities between these three cryptocurrencies, and there is a very prominent difference between these cryptocurrencies. So that will help us understand what actually happened and what will happen next. So if we talk about Cardano, Cardano was on a clock, a 6-month clock, in which it was trading on a CFTC regulated exchange called CME Futures. And after 6 months, Cardano and ADA was finally eligible under the generic listing standard for SEC to review the spot ETFs for ADA. Now, this eligibility came on 9th of August. Grayscale withdrew their application for ADA on 7th of August, just 2 days before ADA finally became eligible, which, I mean, it doesn't make sense because Grayscale filed for it for more than a year ago. Now, finally, when ADA is eligible to have their application reviewed by the SEC and eventually have the spot ADA ETF, Grayscale removed the application. So for this, you have to understand how does the process of getting a spot ETF approved in the US, and what's the similarity between these cryptocurrencies, and what's the difference between these cryptocurrencies and these. Now, most people are, at this moment, are thinking these cryptocurrencies have institutional demand, they have more retail demand. That's actually not true. People are thinking that these assets are performing well. These aren't. That's not true either. They're all down almost 70, 80, or 90% from their all-time highs. So it's not that. If you're talking about institutional adoption, institutional demand, I mean, you have HBAR here. When you talk about institutional or enterprise adoption, this is in the top leagues, but the application for HBAR was also removed. So it's not the adoption, it's not the, their respective performance. It's something completely different. In my opinion, the reason is pretty obvious. That is the generic listing standard. For this, let's understand how the process of getting a spot ETF approved in the US. So you have two filings here. First, you have the S1, and also you have a 19B4. So this is what Grayscale or any company would file to the SEC. And in this, they will basically explain what the fund is about, what are the risks involved, what will be the fee, and all the different specifications for the fund. So Grayscale filed the S1 filing application to the SEC for all these different assets. We also have a 19B4 form filing. Now, this is not filed by the company or Grayscale. It is filed by the stock exchange, which can be the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange will file the 19B4 for the spot ETF to the SEC. They will basically explain and request permission to list the ETF shares for the cryptocurrencies on this exchange. And SEC has to approve both of these in order to approve a crypto ETF. Now, on September 2025, something changed. SEC changed the rules. They brought something called the generic listing standard, which basically says that if a cryptocurrency trades on a CFTC regulated exchange for 6 months, which is considered a mature market, if it does this for 6 months, then it is eligible to be listed on stock exchanges. The ETF for that cryptocurrency is eligible to be listed on spot exchanges, and you don't need this anymore. So if the cryptocurrency qualifies for the generic listing standard, then the company only needs the S1 filing and the ETF will be approved. You don't need the 19B4. Now, this rule was introduced by the SEC in September 2025. And you know what happened in September 2025? The 19B4 form for all these cryptocurrencies was removed. It was withdrawn. So right now, this S1, form, the S1 application for this cryptocurrency is removed, is withdrawn by the Grayscale. 1 year ago, in September, the 19B4 form for these cryptocurrencies was removed because of this standard. SEC personally told exchanges to withdraw the 19B4 form because now you have a new standard. So all the cryptocurrencies that either are planned to be listed on CFTC regulated exchanges, or they are already trading on CFTC regulated exchanges, you don't need this. So just withdraw it because you're essentially paying legal fees and other stuff to have this application live. And that's what happened. Now, you know what the difference is between these cryptocurrencies and these cryptocurrencies? The only major difference that I could find personally is all these three cryptocurrencies are eligible under the generic listing standard. And all the cryptocurrencies here are not eligible under the generic listing standard. That means all these cryptocurrencies has proven that they're trading on a mature CFTC regulated market for more than 6 months. And all these haven't. All these cryptocurrencies, they need the 19B4 to have their spot ETF listed. These cryptocurrencies, they don't need this form. They only need this. But here's the confusing part. Grayscale removed or withdrew the S1 form, the S1 file for these ETFs, which is a weird part. And in my opinion, what makes sense to me is that ever since last year, so since September, these forms were removed. And then obviously Grayscale was waiting for Cardano to be eligible under the generic listing standard. At that point, they actually didn't need to have the S1 filing live. I mean, they could have just waited and filed when it was eligible, but they kept it live, not just for ADA, but all these cryptocurrencies. Now, finally, when ADA was eligible, they removed it. The only thing that makes sense to me at this point is that since these cryptocurrencies are different than these, we have understood this. The basic difference is the generic listing standard. These cryptocurrencies are eligible under the standard. These aren't. So I think there's a difference between, in their S1 form, in their S1 filing. Maybe Grayscale wants to update it under the new rules, maybe some changed metrics, maybe some changed values, and they want to refile it. They want to resubmit it. I think that's the only thing that makes sense here because nothing else does. These cryptocurrencies are fundamentally, and their market is fundamentally better and mature than the markets of these assets here. So why is it that Grayscale would remove it? I mean, these cryptocurrencies, they have proven to be trading on mature market in the US under CFTC regulated exchanges. These cryptocurrencies haven't. So by all means, you would think that companies would line up to list crypto ETFs for these cryptocurrencies and not these because it makes it much more easier. You don't need this form, you only need the S1 form. So the only thing that makes sense to me is that maybe Grayscale will resubmit a new form for this because, I mean, they had the same form, they had the same S1 filing for more than a year, and a lot of things have changed ever since. Grayscale still holds Cardano. It is part of their portfolio, the smart contract fund. That's something that has not changed. It's not like Grayscale has decided that it wants nothing to do with Cardano or Hedera or DOT. In one way or another, there's Grayscale is still involved in these cryptocurrencies. It has not given up on them. I don't think Grayscale removed the applications because it just decided that there is no institutional demand, there is no demand for these cryptocurrencies in the traditional investors. I think it has very much to do with the rules, with the regulation, with the changing regulations, with the new generic listing standard and the difference that I just pointed out. I mean, if we just talk about Cardano. It has been outperforming the market. It has proven it multiple times now. Moreover, as I discussed in my previous videos, ADA as an asset is becoming more and more mature, more stable. It is becoming more appealing to the traditional investors. The AUM for ADA ETPs in Europe, it has been increasing more than the ETPs of these cryptocurrencies. Cardano ADA, it has a higher AUM than all these different cryptocurrencies. So it has proven that it has institutional demand in other countries in Europe, and it will probably have that in the US as well. Moreover, if we talk about the new mature blockchain test by the SEC under the Clarity Act, as I discussed in my previous videos, Cardano is among the only 3 blockchains that actually passes that test to be very decentralized and to be a very mature blockchain. And because of that, there is no doubt that ADA, the asset, is a commodity, not just under the CFTC and SEC interpretation, but under the Clarity Act, ADA is a commodity, and there's no debate here. So it's not about regulations, it's not about performance, it's not about institutional demand, institutional interest. It has nothing to do with that. I couldn't find any relevance, any similarity, in regards to these metrics. The only difference was the generic listing standard, which, I mean, these cryptocurrencies, because they qualify under the generic listing standard, they don't need this form. So it becomes more easier for companies to file, for their ETF. But I think there is some difference in their S1 form. The S1 form for this will probably be different than the S1 form for these cryptocurrencies, because now they are eligible under the generic listing standard. So I think that's the only reason it was, the application for these assets were removed. And if I'm not entirely wrong, then Grayscale will resubmit. Moreover, Grayscale is just one company that is filing it. Now that ADA is eligible and all these cryptocurrencies are eligible under the generic listing standard, there will be other companies, and they have expressed their intent to file for a spot ADA ETF and spot HBAR and DOT ETF. So they already have, not only that some have submitted the S1 form, but others have placed interest and intent in filing for spot ETFs for these cryptocurrencies. So Grayscale is just one of those. Even if it doesn't launch its own ETF, I don't think it's the end of the line here. There will be other companies that will do so. But yeah, that is my take on this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video shortly. So stay tuned.